Hey everyone, welcome to my Pecha Kucha PowerPoint for the PIDP 3240 Media Enhanced Learning class. I'll take you through a journey of the magnificent Greek heritage sites. Let's get started. The Temple of Olympian Zeus, located in Athens, Greece. As you can see it is not too far from the Acropolis, which holds more magnificent Greek architecture. Construction of this temple started in 174 BC, but was not completed until 131 AD by the Roman Emperor Hadrian. You'll notice the ambitious, massive columns, which made it one of the largest temples ever built in the ancient world. 16 of the original colossal columns exist today. The Erechtheion in Athens, Greece, located in the Acropolis. Construction of the Erechtheion began in 420 BC during the Peloponnesian War between the Athenians and Spartans, the two most powerful city-states in ancient Greece at this time. The Erechtheion was completed in 406 BC. The temple's iconic feature are the 6 massive female statues called the Caryatids. The Odeon of Herodotus Atticus, Acropolis, Athens. Built between 160 AD to 174 AD, it is located on the southwest slope of the Acropolis. At the time of construction, it had a capacity for 5,000 people. The Athenian magnate Herodotus Atticus built this structure in memory of his wife, Aspasia Annia Regilia. The theater is still in use in the present day, showcasing concerts, ancient Greek plays, and ballets. The Parthenon, Athens, the main attraction of the Acropolis. When we think of Greece, we picture the Parthenon. Construction of the Parthenon began in 447 BC at the height of the Athenian Empire. This legendary structure was dedicated to the goddess of wisdom and the patron of the Athenians, Athena. The Parthenon was initially built as a celebration and acknowledgement to the gods for the victory over the Persian Empire. The Parthenon has served many roles over time, including a church dedicated to the Virgin Mary in the final decade of the 6th century, to a mosque during the Ottoman rule in the early 1460s. Temple of Athena, Nike, Athens, Greece. Located in the southwest plateau, early in its history, it was a place of worship for deities associated with wars during the Bronze Age. This temple is considerably smaller than other temples of the Acropolis. The Temple of Athena Nike is the first building you encounter during your visit up to the Acropolis. The Great Theatre of Epidavros in Epidavros, Greece. Built in the late 4th century BC, this theatre had the capacity to provide seating of up to 14,000 people. The theatre hosted singing, music, dramatic games, but also the worship of the god of medicine, Asclepius. The theater was used to heal patients since it was believed that witnessing a stage drama had a positive effect on both physical and mental health. The Temple of Apollo, Delphi, Greece. This temple dates back to the 4th century BC. At the time of construction, the temple had 6 columns in the front and 15 at the sides. The temple caught on fire during the 6th century and was rebuilt and given the name Temple of Alcmeondae in honor of the noble Athenian family who funded the reconstruction of the temple. This temple was destroyed again in 373 BC by an earthquake, and in 333 BC it was rebuilt. The temple survived until 390 AD when Roman Emperor Theodosius I destroyed the temple in an attempt to remove all traces of paganism. Temple of Hera, Olympia. Built in 590 BC, one of the oldest temples in Greece and oldest in Olympia, the Temple of Hera was dedicated to the queen of Greek goddesses. The temple had 16 columns before it was destroyed in an earthquake in the 4th century AD. The torch of the Olympic flame is still lit in its ruins to this day and is carried to all parts of the world. Temple of Hephaestus, Agora, Greece. Built in 415 BC, the Temple of Hephaestus is a well-preserved ancient Greek temple standing the test of time. The temple was dedicated to the god of craftsmanship, metalworking, and fire, Hephaestus. Delphi Theatre, Delphi, Greece. The Delphi Theatre, built in the 4th century BC, presented the seating audience with a spectacular view of the mountain valley and sanctuary below. There are 35 rows that can fit up to 5,000 spectators. Plays, poetry readings, and musical events took place in ancient times. The lower tiers of the seats were built during the Hellenistic and Roman periods. Knossos, Crete, Greece. Known as Europe's oldest city, this palace dates back to 7000 BC and was abandoned after its destruction in 1375 BC. The Palace of Knossos covers about 5 acres. The palace had 16 rooms dedicated to store large quantities of oil, wool, wine, and grain that were held in storage jars of up to 5 feet tall. The palace had bathrooms, toilets, and a drainage system. There's speculation whether Knossos was destroyed by the volcanic eruption of Santorini. It is generally accepted that the cause was human violence from an invasion by the Mycenaeans from mainland Greece. Lion Gate, Mycenae, Greece. Lion's Gate was the main entrance of the Bronze Age citadel of Mycenae. Built around 1250 BC, the Lion's Gate is the sole surviving monumental piece of Mycenaean sculpture, as well as the largest sculpture in prehistoric Aegean. The Lion's Gate is a massive and imposing construction, standing 10 feet wide and 10 feet high at the threshold. The Stoa of Attalos, Agora, Greece. Built around 150 BC, the Stoa of Attalos was built by King Attalos II of Pergamon as a gift in return for the education Attalos received in Agora, Greece. This building is a large two-story double colonnade with rows of shops behind the colonnades. The Stoa became the major commercial building or shopping center in the Agora and was used for centuries, until its destruction at the hands of the Heruli in 267 AD. The building was re-erected between 1953 and 1956 and serves as a museum. The Temple of Poseidon, Cape Sunio, Greece. Built between 444 and 440 BC, an inscription confirms that the temple was dedicated to Poseidon, god of the sea. It was part of the ambitious building project initiated by Pericles, which included other renowned temples such as the Parthenon. The Temple of Poseidon is made of marble with 6 columns at its ends and 13 on each side. The Temple of Apollo, Corinth, Greece. The Temple of Apollo at Corinth is one of the earliest Doric temples in the Peloponnese and the Greek mainland. Built around 560 BC, the archaic temple was an emblem for the Greek city of Corinth, reflecting its growth and prosperity. The temple originally had 42 limestone columns. Today, it only has 7 columns standing. Marine Fountain, Corinth, Greece. During the 2nd BC, it included 6 chambers with access to 3 pumping basins. They are fueled by 4 huge cisterns. Its facade was constructed during the early Roman period, bearing Doric semicolumns framing the arched openings in front of the old chambers. The monasteries of Meteora in Thessaly, Greece. The word Meteora literally means hovering in the air. These large monasteries were built on these large mountains by the late 11th and early 12th centuries. Back in these times, the only way of reaching these monasteries on these large mountains was by climbing a long ladder, which was drawn up whenever the monks felt threatened. Today, there are roads and bridges to access the monasteries. Mount Athos Monasteries, Mount Athos, Greece. An Orthodox spiritual center since the 10th century, there are 20 monasteries on the top of the steep slopes of Mount Athos that covers over 33,000 hectares. Known as the Holy Mountain, this monastery is forbidden to women and children. These monasteries are inhabited by 1,400 monks. The archaeological site of Delos, Delos, Greece. One of the most important mythological, historical, and archaeological sites in Greece. Ancient stone huts found on the island indicate that it has been inhabited since the 3rd millennium BC. In Greek mythology, the island of Delos is the birthplace of Apollo and Artemis. Old town of Corfu, Corfu, Greece. The island of Corfu is situated off the western coast of Greece and Albania. The island has been inhabited since the 8th century BC. and has been subject to various influences and a mix of different peoples. In the 15th century, Corfu was under the rule of the Venetians for 4 centuries, then passing it to the French, British, and finally the Greek governments. That's the end of the tour of the magnificent Greek heritage sites. I hope you enjoyed listening and observing these wonderful sites. I hope you have the chance to visit them one day. Take care for now. Bye-bye.